Yeah.
And how does Grimp or even Rescue Great Day, how do you think they differ from most American competitions that we see over here?
I mean, they're pure rope competitions, I think is probably the biggest difference. Like we have a comp here in Texas, the Texas Rescue Competition,
Yeah.
and it's traditionally been a very wilderness competition. We did a Garner State Park, so there's no structures around necessarily. It's just trees and rocks and cliffs. So you're either drilling holes or slinging, boulders or trees or something. So it's a different. The environment kind of drives a lot of that. And then the competition here in Texas is heavily medical. For example, like half of
Okay.
your score is what you're doing medically. So I'm not super qualified to be a rescuer for that competition. Like I was an EMT at one point, but I'm not anymore, and I've kind of lost all of that knowledge slash skills. So all my stuff is wilderness medicine now, which is quick and dirty. I can give you two drugs, Tylenol and ibuprofen, and that's about it.
Perfect. That's all you
Yeah,
need.
yeah, and then we're using sticks and stones to splint things and that kind of stuff. But you're judged pretty heavily on the medical on that end. There's another competition here, IRECA, which is more of like it's a more, I guess, well-rounded from a fire service perspective competition, and they use ropes in structure collapse or confined space specific type scenarios. And so you're using all of those elements that firefighters train with all the time in a more well-rounded way. Whereas Grimp and Rescue Great Day are rope competitions, like ropes, and maybe there are tools involved. Like we had to do an extrication at Grimp, but I didn't handle any tools. I'm not a firefighter on how to do that. But it's relatively rare. It's
Yeah.
just there's some basic medical stuff, make patient contact, do a good patient assessment, and then you'll be good. The judge will tell you all the signs and symptoms and vitals and all that. Other than that, it's how do you get to the patient and how do you execute the extrication? Like what's the rope work look like? What systems are you building? How are you managing your safety factors? What, equipment selection, all those types of things. It's pure rope
Okay.
for both of those competitions.
And what's the team makeup over there? Is it a lot of rope access people in Europe, or is there a mix of firefighters too?
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of like fire brigade, I guess, to use the European term, or fire service dudes, but it depends on the region they're from. Like there are several, the best teams, like the Grimp team. I think the French team that won Grimp 16. That's their job is rescue. That's what they do, and they do extrication and have to have hazmat awareness and con space and all that. But they don't fight fire, and they do medical, obviously, but that's it, kind of the whole European structure is different, and there's some Asian countries that mirror that too. So that's probably the biggest difference. And there are several spots here in the states that do it, like Austin Fire and Austin EMS are two separate kind of regimes within Austin, Texas, and the EMS guys do rescue. The fire guys do it, but the EMS team is like the rescue squad. So it's kind of a different structure, which is just based on, kind of your department. But the American model is firefighter has to be prepared for everything, right?
Yeah, right.
Whatever
Exactly.
whatever it is, you got to get them out. So
Yeah. No.
yeah,
And that's so between Grimp and Rescue Great Day, being just pure rope, was there any other differences or something that, makes one different from the other besides location?
yeah. I mean, Grimm's been doing it longer. Rescue Great Day is a relatively new competition, and I think the culture kind of drives like the regional culture in Namur, Belgium, is different from the culture in Sevilla, Spain. So those kind of cultural organizational differences, are not difficult to notice if you go to both of them. So Rescue Great Day is a much larger competition traditionally. Like we went there 2 years ago and there were 42 teams. Yeah, which is an enormous number of people running around a city hanging
Yeah.
off of stuff. Yeah. So the logistics are probably the hardest thing to nail for those things. And in Namur, they've been doing Grimp Day in Namur for 20 years now.
Yeah.
So they got it pretty well dialed, and they know like all the city managers and get all the permits lined up and locations for everything to run really smoothly, and it does run really smoothly. And that's no shade on Rescue Great Day in Spain. They just I don't know. And the only real other difference other than that is in the last couple years, Rescue Great Day has gotten more physically demanding. Like we march harder. You carry all your gear everywhere in either one of these competitions, regardless of what transportation you have available. You have to carry your gear.
Yeah.
So in Rescue Great Day, they'll make you hike 2 miles and then climb 100 flights of stairs or something to get to a spot where you then have to then go find your patient. And in in the mirror at Grimp Day, it's more about, you're gonna have to climb some stairs and hike a little bit, but it's less physically demanding. They wanna see your rope skill.
Okay.
Yeah.